Welcome to Gems of Sage podcast. My name is Monique. I'm the founder of Gems of Sage, and today I'm going to be your host. We are discussing sacred spaces. So, I'm going to provide four tips, four different areas of ways to be able to create a sacred space for yourself. Because as you are beginning your awakening and your remembrance journey of the self, there are so many aspects within your life that are going to change, both internally and externally. And this can become very overwhelming. And so, something very important to do is to ground yourself. So, creating a stability for yourself comes with that sacred space. This can be your support system, if you will, for yourself. Ideally, you would like your home to be that sacred space for you to fall into. But for a lot of people, doing the whole house can be very overwhelming. We don't want this to be an overwhelming process, right? So start with one room, um, because everyone's life is different, right? Some people might be living with other family members, so you just don't have control over the whole home. Or you've got kids, or you've got so much stuff that you've accumulated over the last couple of years that thinking about taking it all on is just way too much for you. So, my advice is to begin with one room and feel what is best for you. Do you need one room as your escape place to be able to just go to when you need that support system? Or are you home a lot and you want that around you where you're spending most of your time? Or is there a particularly dense room in your home that you're like, hey, let's tackle that one and clean that one out? So you'll pick out whichever it is. And with these four steps, that'll help um, create that sacred space for you. So the first one I want to take a look at is clean cleanliness and organization. So keeping your space clear and allowing the energy to move through the room is extremely important. Especially pay attention to areas where dust tends to collect and allow flow in those spots and tend to those. Doing that will help release some of that dense negative energy that's in the room. And part of that organization is you're going to have to go through your belongings. So get rid of stuff that you have not touched in years. Let it go. This, of course, use your discernment, but this will allow new energy to flow. So you've got to let go in order for that new space. And keeping an organized, clean space is also an opportunity for yourself to hold yourself accountable to stay on top of these tasks. We're all busy. We're all doing stuff, but taking the time to complete a task that is a priority and doing that consciously is a huge feat. And you need to be able to find within this being productive, but also relaxing at the same time. And that's just going to take practice. And when you are keeping this space in your home or this area organized and clean, this allows your mind and body to also feel less cluttered, feel less stressed. On top of that, it just doesn't stay clean by itself, but this does help support you. And an awareness tip on this is pay close attention to the relationship with the items that you are both keeping and releasing. The reason I say that is because there is a communication in that feeling that will reveal an aspect of yourself that you may need to look at. So if you're feeling resistance on separating from a particular item, sit with that. Take note of it, meditate on it later, or do it right then and there. But knowing your relationship with that item in your direct environment can teach you a lot about your internal world. So I suggest keeping note of that. And to allow the highest aspect of your soul to work through you, you need to make space for this. There's no cookie cutter way of finding exactly how to make it flow. But what I do know is that you need to make space for this. And so you may need to create a strict schedule for yourself to implement some of these new habits. But the funny thing with the universe is that, so the universe may mix up your life to release control with your new habits if it's becoming too egoic and if it's not coming from that heart space. So just be prepared to allow your life to not exactly go as you've had it planned. Allow that energy to flow, not restrict it. You must be disciplined enough to be able to surrender within the divine consciously while you are living in the 3D realm, fully present. This just takes practice. So the second way of being able to support yourself on your journey of remembrance is implementing sounds and music. Everything around and inside of us holds a vibration and a frequency. And these vibrations can behave like codes or keys to either enhance or restrict and keep in aspects within the self. And in both spiritual practices and in spiritual findings, higher vibrations impact the environment and moods in a positive motion. For example, playing classical music has been reported to decrease cortisol in the body and increase dopamine in the brain. It also has shown that plants that are around classical music grow more efficiently. The nutrients in the plant flow more efficiently, and plants are taller and they produce more fruit. So imagine what that can do for you. Imagine what that's doing to your environment. And this is not only in the physical level, but this all ties back to the spiritual realms. The physical is being projected through the spiritual, excuse me. Therefore, right? Therefore, they impact one another. And so I encourage you, if you're looking to create that sacred space and allow divinity to flow in your life, play beautiful sounds. From bird singing to your 528 hertz music that's online, Tibetan bowls, Beethoven, listening to your kids laughing. Just allow these beautiful tones to sink into your being. And in that moment, truly comprehend how they make you feel and how it's shifting your energy. Just use this tool to clear. It'll clear the entire space. But remember, we live in a dualistic universe. So on the other spectrum of besides what we've been talking, they can have a suppressing effect on your system too. So if you allow like scary movies or scary sounds, really grotesque visuals, right? Those also impact your home and the state of vibration. So just be aware of this. And on a deeper note, if that's not already deep, but there is a sound in silence as well, right? There is a sound in silence. When you are going within and feeling that, hearing that, take note of what that sounds like to you, what that feels like to you. And the longer that you do this, the more that you go within and you sit in that silence, the feeling of the sound is going to change. The deeper you go within, there are sounds that can take you to places in the astral as well. You'll hear music in the astral. It's beautiful. And even something like ringing in the ears, right? There's other medical conditions that happen with ringing in the ears, but I'm talking about the spiritual aspect. Th- Take indication of that. That's a communication system that's happening with you. So the more that you sit in silence, the less silent it becomes. And it's beautiful. And now the third way for creating a sacred space is smells and incense. Our bodies are designed to use the sense of smell to determine for ourselves if something is safe or not. And for example, people will even stick their nose into a container that's been sitting in the refrigerator, and if it smells okay, are ready to dinner. If not, they toss it in the trash, right? We use this all the time. And it's easy to forget how useful um, your sense of smell is. But either if we lose it or if it helps us get out of a sticky situation, we're like, oh, thank goodness I've got my sense of smell, right? So when it comes to adding this to your home, an aroma can ease stress and put a smile on your face. And it's a small thing to do, but it has a really large impact. A good smell or a bad smell can completely shift the way a person feels when they're walking into a space. So, knowing this, you can implement the power of smells within your home to immediately change how it feels. There are many ways you can integrate good supportive smells in your home. You can make your own candles, you can buy good quality ones, place them around your home. You can do diffusers with essential oils or put essential oils on some like cloth balls and hang those around. Um, of course, burning incense in a room or putting perfume on your skin. That's another great option. Incense has been used for centuries, clearing negative energy out of areas. And so, using regularly incense such as saffron, Palo Santo, sage, and so many other herbs will boost the positive energy around your home. And using this regularly to clear your aura, that's greatly encouraged as well. And pay attention to the quality of the incense and the essential oils that you are purchasing as well. Do your research on them before you end up bringing it into your home. And just as a tip, there are certain incenses and perfumes that are enhanced to help support certain zodiac signs. So if you are feeling depleted or if you're just wanting to enhance your overall well-being, I highly suggest look into purchasing incense or perfume that enriches each of your zodiac signs. So your sun, your moon, your rising. I have a list of those on my website. Also, Glorian.org has wonderful insights on that as well. Okay, so the fourth way of creating the sacred space is who you allow into your space. So, as I discussed before, everything has a vibration and a frequency. So, being aware of the type of energy and the people that you are allowing into your space is huge. Of course, not everybody has the full capacity to be able to restrict or allow, everybody who comes into their home. But what you're able to do is be diligent and clear the space in your home. And also, when you go out into a denser area or around other people, set the correct, protection barriers around yourself and clear yourself when you're able to. And you also, as your being, are directly impacting your home and those around you. So being attuned, it's getting kind of bright. So being attuned to your own energy and consistently checking back in with yourself and releasing is the best way that you can hold that sacred space within yourself. So when you are fully present, fully conscious, and fully surrendered to the divine with an open heart, that in itself is sacred. And the longer you can hold yourself in that space, the more natural it's going to become. And calling in the divine, ascended masters, and archangels, this is incredibly powerful and they can help raise the vibration of a space. So regularly connecting with these type of energies will shift your vessel and change the space around you. There's so many benefits to connecting with these higher vibrational energies, and they're just waiting for you to let them assist you. Do your best to remember that you are just as powerful. But of course, we all need help along the way, right? And so do your best not to rely on an external force. Always check back in with yourself. So beyond these four ways that I just talked about, there's so many other ways to create a sacred space for yourself, both internally and externally. And a good goal that you can have is to have, okay, the external world, your direct environment, it's all put away, it's all clean, it's all smelling good. Eventually, you want that to be the reflection of what's going on the inside. So keep working on that inside stuff too, making it quote unquote smell good and feel good and be a clear, less cluttered space, right? So this all takes consistency with yourself, diligence, right? And just being constantly aware of all that's happening to create this sacred space, both internally and externally. So I encourage you to take these steps and to implement them both on the outside and work on the inside too for a sacred space. Thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to find some more information, you can visit the website gemsofsage.com. Thank you.